You could just set up your stream early, and then I stream to your audience the whole time without you.
I don't even know how to do that. It took me about a month of streams to even figure out how to stream it on mine from this one. I don't know how to stream it on my own. I only know how to stream through your stream.
All right. Next time I set it up, I'll text you, and then you can go in and set it up beforehand.
I like crossing streams with you, Chris.
Not surprisingly, not the first P joke.
There's a lot of them earlier. Yeah, we've gone through John 5 so far today. Doctor of Pokemon. Oh, I didn't say that. Dude, Pokemon based.
Oh, that must be a Mike Winger fan out there. He said he's listening. I'm playing Pokemon while I listen.
Yeah, I don't have any. Oh no, I do. I was gonna say I don't have any Pokemon on my desk because I cleaned off my desk. I still do. Hold on, let me get my Annihilate card. Boom.
Oh, it's shiny. I like the shiny ones.
Got a holo Japanese Annihilate Pokemon card.
There's a song called "I Run This Bitch" but he just says it by Lil Wayne. I was talking to a friend recently, like, what are the appropriate times to listen to this particular song in your life? And I was like, I like playing that song when I have like a level 80 Blastoise and I'm just blasting through the Elite Four. I run this and I'm going to keep running. Never running out of money. I'm a dog. I'm stunned. Don't do nothing. That song is so good, but it's so bad. It's terrible. Don't listen to it.
Let's get back to the Bible. So we went through John 5, all of John 5. We're now halfway through John 7. And then we'll go through most of John 8 as well for the new viewers of Christian Gadfly's stream and those who watch his replay. That is the current plan. If you want to watch the first hour and 20 minutes of this stream, you can go to my channel on Defending the Lion and watch it there. But only that bit. The rest of it you watch on Christian Gadflies. So, if a man receives circumcision on the Sabbath so that the law of Moses will not be broken, are you angry with me because I made an entire man well on the Sabbath? Do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. So he's also saying that the Pharisees are only judging based on appearance. Oh, these things seem tangentially related, therefore they are. That is the Talmud summed up in one sentence. It's pretty much all the Pharisees do, and the rabbis. They are pulling random. They're like, hey, I believe this thing happened. Why do you believe that? Then they have a sentence out of context from like Zephaniah, and it's like well. First off, that's not the context of Zephaniah. That's not the context of what you're talking about, and that's against the Bible. What do you mean? And they're
who else does this tactic? Who does this remind you of?
Every cult leader ever.
Well, specifically, the one that we all like to joke about a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big granddaddy of cults.
Yeah.
To be fair, Islam is the most successful cult of all time.
That is true.
And it's the most number of Jewish followers of any religion.
It's got a lot of perks. Like you don't get your head cut off if you convert. That's a big perk. You don't become a second class.
Does God judge us in living life as we walk? I'm not sure exactly what you mean that, but yes, probably. It depends what you mean by that. I guess I'll let you respond to that if you want to add more context to your question.
Me?
Okay. You?
Me?
No, you're telling him add more context to the question. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, not you. Yeah.
I'm barely awake. I stayed up way too late last night because me and a friend were watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and it's so long and it's so good.
Oh yeah.
And it finally finished at like 11:30 at night, and then I just laid in bed and I couldn't fall asleep. for like until like 2:30 or something.
You had to get your gun belt out and stand in front of the mirror and
yeah. That's how my brain.
Gallon hat.
It's like a fire hose of coolness just being sprayed in my face for 3 hours. I had to process all of that.
Oh yeah. I gotta wash himself off after too.
Gosh, that's a good.
Anyway, I haven't seen that since I was like a teenager. I need to watch it again.
You know, it's part of 3 movies.
The Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Well, so they're like loosely related. They're not really. The story's not that connected, but it's like a fistful of dollars, a few dollars more, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I only knew about The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I saw that like in college. And then my buddy was like, "Hey, there's actually 3 of them." I'm like, "Really?" And so we watched the first and second one. I was like, "Oh my gosh, these are so good." And every time I watch one, I'm like, "Okay, this one's my favorite." Wait, no, this one's my favorite.
So I love how we both independently saw the same movie at the same time, not knowing each other. And it's like, what, from the 60s?
Wait, when did you see? Oh, you mean
early 60s,
late 60s, 66
or late 60s.
I saw The Good, Man, and the Ugly in high school. You're 7 years older than me, and you saw it in college. I saw it in 9th grade or 10th grade.
We saw it the same day.
Roughly within the same time period from a movie that's like our parents' age. Anyway, weird. That's a sign. Islam is true. Yes.
We did under the same moon that was split.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
one half watched Chris and one half watched Christian. And
since you missed this joke earlier, can you go ahead and read the first word of verse 27 in Greek?
Yeah, Allah.
There you have it, people. There he is.
There's the proof of Islam.
Over 600 times in the New Testament.
It's also a wing in Spanish.
It's hidden in there.
So he's in the Spanish translations too.
No, Allah is Allah. You know, every time Allah is Allah. Doesn't matter.
Just like Muhammadim is Muhammad.
Yeah, according to Sheikh Baba Ganoush, that was in fact that was the case. I got destroyed on it. Anyway, yeah.
If I was
Steven made that joke
my name would be Shake It Fast.
Shake it fast.
Hey, shake it fast. Watch yourself.
Anyway, so some of the people of Jerusalem are saying, "Is this not the man whom they are seeking to kill? And look, he is speaking openly, and they are saying nothing to him. Do the rulers truly know that this is the Christ?" So the people are starting to wonder, hey, this man is speaking as if he's God. He's speaking as if he's the Messiah. Is he actually the Messiah? However, we know where this man is from, but whenever the Christ comes, no one will know where he is from. And this is again Christos in the Greek, unlike last time, which was Messias and Christos, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, call back to last week if you want to go watch that. It was a pretty good stream. And then there's a mini debate with Ash in the middle of it.
Yeah. Two mini debates.
Yeah. So no one knows where he actually comes from.
Stomped out every time, utterly destroyed.
No one actually knows where Jesus comes from. You know what I just realized
after that, Chris? Oh, sorry. Here we go again.
Go ahead.
My delay has gotten worse. So you know what I'll do is I'll leave real quick and come back and see. Well, if I can, I'll try to come back and that way I'll stop interrupting everybody. Do what?
Your lips are fine. Your audio is fine.
Well, easy. I know it's Pride Month, Chris, but we're trying to do a live stream.
I'm only just now realizing that you don't actually have another stream you're doing. You're just peeing. Because you keep going. I was always like, what's this other live stream that takes like 1 minute that he always does and comes back?
That's for my channel members. I go and do that and I say, hey guys, can you believe the goofy stuff that Chris is saying over there? Yeah, sorry, I gotta go. No, I'm not. I wouldn't. I don't. That's a weird dumb joke. I would never say something so stupid like that.
Shake it fast, watch yourself.
Yeah. And then he's got a brother, shake it fast, show me what you're working with.
Hey Ernest, how you doing? Yeah, no, that's always been the joke of his live stream is literally just him peeing. Yeah.
Yep. He
Or
doesn't
so it
actually have
appears.
another live stream he's doing, guys. He's just peeing.
No, he does not. Yeah. It's very
Maybe.
unfortunate. Well, I mean, it is a stream, and he is alive while doing it. So who knows if he's actually he could be recording that too, just to a different channel.
Just careful not to have your beard fall in the toilet.
Different website.
It's long enough you could braid it if you wanted.
Oh yeah, I used to when we had to wear the mask during COVID at the where I worked, I would just braid it in just because the mask was just kind of I'd take the mask off eventually at the end of the day and I'd have this weird mask shape indentation on my face. Which looked very silly. And it was longer though. It goes in weird phases. I've never cut it or shaved it or anything since for 19 years now. And so like a couple years ago it got like this long just out of nowhere, and then thought, well, that's weird, I didn't notice that before, and then now it's back up to it's kind of short for what it's for what it has been, so I don't know how that works.
Wait, so maybe it changes its length without you cutting it?
Mm-hmm.
That's
the
crazy.
humidity would make it frizz more or less, and then also your hair falls out.
You could run.
So if you're getting older,
see what it really is.
Yeah, I'd be terrified.
It goes down to the floor.
Eyelash.
As you get older, your pigmented hair changes to non-pigmented hair, which is what everything else is. So like all this is furry. So we actually have hair here. You just can't see it because it's too small. Yeah, and it becomes oily, so it's shiny. Yeah, but as your beard thins and as your hair thins, it's actually you still have hair there. The hair doesn't go away. You still have hair follicles. They're still producing hair, just of a different type. There's 3 different types of hair humans produce. The one that's in the womb is the first hair we make. Then we make the 2 different types that you see now. The one you don't see and the one that you do see. And they all have names that I don't remember.
There's a different type of hair you're talking about.
No.
Right, here we go talking about this again. You talked about this with David Wood. You're talking about does the carpet match the drapes or whatever? Just totally
no, my carpet and my drapes do not match. In fact, actually, I have a dual colored bush. That's a little fun tidbit about me.
You're like,
well, I'm glad I've not made it yet to Chris's house.
You're like Rogue from X-Men.
I'm a calico in all regard. Anyway.
And now this is where I'm going to fix my delay.
All right,
maybe I'll come back.
It's like all I come on to talk about. Chris's burning bush. Oh, what a waste of time.
Steven left so quickly.
He's got another live stream, guys. He's got to go do.
Yeah, it's not nearly as bad of a Bible study as we did last month. Whenever we had the full off the rail one, the gay rodeo and the goats.
Anyway. The first one was the when I did that one with what were their names? Those 2, they're nice guys.
Oh, Chase and Andrew.
Yeah, we talked about camels.
Yeah, that was the first one.
All right, here, I'm gonna help get us on track. Right. Well, I'm verse what now?
27. All right, however, we know where this man comes from, but no one knows where the Christ comes from. No one knows where he is from. So this is again about Jesus being God. They're like, oh well, this man, he's from Galilee. We know where he's from.
John too, where everyone interprets everything in like a material and earthly manner, and Jesus is intending it in a spiritual manner. So we know where he comes from. Well, they don't really, because he comes from above, and they don't know that.
Right. He's from heaven. He's from the Father. He's God eternal. It's like, oh, well, we won't know who the Messiah is, and you don't. You don't understand who he is, really. That's his point. And Jesus cried out in the temple, teaching and saying, you both know me and know where I am from. I have not come of myself, but he who sent me is true, whom you do not know. I know him because I am from him, and he sent me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they were seeking to seize him. Yet no man laid his hand on him because his hour had not yet come. But many of the crowd believed in him, and they were saying, when the Christ comes, will he do more signs than this man did? So they're like, hey, he's already doing the messianic miracles. He's already doing the messianic signs. Is there anyone who could be doing more than this? The answer is obviously no.
This has applicability. I keep thinking about this, like with these people, because David Wood's like caught up in all these ecumenical discussions about what's the true church and what isn't. But it's like, look at his life. Look at how he changed. And you go, yeah, when the real church comes, is it going to change him more than this? Like he went from being like a murdering psychopath to a loving father with a lifelong ministry. Yeah.
The same thing with me. Like, I'm not part of any church. Technically, I'm not part of any denomination. And I was a terrible person, as you guys have seen glimpses of what I've talked about on stream. I was a horrible person. I deserved multiple death sentences. And now I am who I am now, which significantly better. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But the work that has been done in me, people who knew me as a kid, knew me as a teenager, they don't recognize me now. So that's pretty amazing. But I'm not a part of any of the churches. So talking about like the true church, well, what if the true church is literally just the body of Christ and all people who have faith in him?
Amen.
And a relationship with him.
And then like you see the fruit of the Spirit coming out of your life, and you know a tree by its fruit, and you will know them by their fruit. Why are you guys wasting so much time talking about nothing? No, that's
this guy must not
question.
Be familiar,
and that's a question that needs to be asked because, oh my goodness, I got a mole on my arm that is so itchy.
What do you mean? You literally are just doing the same thing. Okay.
I know. Man, it's so bad. I keep going off topic. Oh, mole.
So 3 types of hair sounds like something straight out of the Talmud. It does. And I wouldn't believe it myself if I didn't actually know the science behind it. Yeah, it's also part of the reason why people thought we were from chimps early on. Also, thank you for the super chat. This is again off topic a little bit, but amen. So if you have a really preemie baby, my daughter was 36 weeks old. If you have like a 32-week-old get born, they're still really furry, like extremely furry, because most of their body's producing this long, thick hair that's typically black. So you have this black, thick, long hair that wraps around the baby to keep it warm. So babies are insulated within the womb by their own hair. And then as soon as they're born, actually while they're getting close to being born, this hair falls out all over their body. And then it's replaced with their own natural hair. The younger the baby, the more likely they are to be born with this straight black hair and to be furry on all over their face. You can actually look up like furry babies being born. You'll find pictures of it. Not only do little babies look like aliens, especially when they come out the womb because they're green and blue and nasty and covered in gunk. If you have a extremely preemie, they're also going to be furry, nasty little gunky aliens that are coming out of the woman that you love that will scar you for life watching it happen. Anyway, so we have humans coming out furry and people are like, oh, well, we obviously came from chips because the people are furry. That's the evidence of us being monkeys. Yeah. Also, Ernest found that you're a prophet from that. Also, I just realized that Stephen has not come back.
Ernest?
It was great timing for him to leave and just dip out for the rest of the night. Anyway, back to the Bible. The Pharisees heard the crowd whispering these things about him, and the chief priests and the Pharisees sent officers to seize him. Therefore, Jesus says, for a little while longer I am with you, then I go to him who sent me. You will seek me and will not find me, and where I am you cannot come. The Jews then said to one another, where does this man intend to go that we will not find him? Is he intending to go to the dispersion among the Greeks and teach the Greeks? So is he basically becoming like a Sadducee or a Hellenist? Is their question. And what is the statement that he said? You will seek me and you will not find me. Where I am, you cannot come. Now, on the last day, the great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried out, saying, so this is again in the Feast of Tabernacles in Jerusalem, in the temple. If anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. He who believes in me, as the scripture said, from his innermost being will flow rivers of living water. So again, this is similar language to what was being used in John 6, which we went over last week, and why it's part of the reason why I don't believe John 6 is actually about the communion or the Eucharist. Anyway, all the language he uses of that, of his blood and his drink and his food and all that, is all over the New Testament. I don't think most, if any of it, is actually about the Eucharist, but you can go out, watch the debate last week on that. But this he spoke of the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were going to receive, for the Spirit was not yet given because Jesus was not yet glorified. So they didn't have yet the Holy Spirit, and they couldn't understand or believe the words that he was speaking, even though he's speaking of the Spirit. He spoke of the Spirit. He's speaking spiritually. He's speaking figuratively. So whenever we're like, oh, well, why wouldn't Jesus be more clear in John 6 with him not talking about the Eucharist, not being literal? Well, he does this a lot. This is kind of just how Jesus teaches. So he doesn't have to straight up say, hey, I'm not speaking literally here. Whenever he speaks in parables, the vast majority of the time. And he even clarifies that he was speaking of the Spirit in the end of John 6, as we went over last week. But we don't need to have more of that debate here. Time for a Chris moment. What are you talking about, Jack? I have never said anything uncouth once in my whole life, especially on stream. Never happened. I'm still here. I don't know where he's at. That's Steven's wife. So she doesn't know where Steven went. Oh, speak of the devil. Not the devil. Speak of an angel. There he is.
Chris, I caught some of that. I don't know where I'm at. Hopefully the delay's a little bit better. But when when Jesus is mentioning he was making the living water speech, do you guys know what was going on at that time during Sukkot in the temple, to why this is a very relevant statement he's making? There's
The waters of purification?
There was a ceremony that they would do during Sukkot, like a big water ceremony, where they'd go down to the pool of Siloam, which in Hebrew is the sent one, and they would bring up water, or they would have water where they would pour it and it would go. I forget, it's in, if you guys have ever heard of or read the books by Alfred Edersheim, there's three really good ones. There's The Life and Times of Jesus the Messiah. There's The Temple. It's something, and it's, forget the rest of that title. And then there's what's the third one? I forget. It's been a long time since I read them, but they're awesome books. And he was a Jew that converted, and so he was really familiar with what was going on. The books, there's a book about what was going on in that Second Temple period, and so at this point during Sukkot, they would be doing a big water drawing ceremony, and so when he stands up and says this, he's saying it as they're doing that ceremony, and super cool parallel there. And also again him proclaiming to be something very special. But those I recommend those books to anybody. Those are really good books, full of tons of awesome information. Alfred Edersheim is the author.
Chris, on the part where it says where I'm going, you can't follow, and then they said, is he going to go to the Gentiles? My brain was freaking out because I remembered him saying, I thought that they were going to say, is he going to die? And so I had to go Google that real quick. And so in the next chapter, there's like a similar conversation where he says, where I'm going, you don't know. And there they say, is he going to die? Right. It's probably there's some reason to compare these two passages, but I'm running off of no sleep right now, so I can't. I'm not that fast on the draw.
That's fine. So the idea that Esau was born hairy could actually make sense. Yes. So he was a twin, and twins do get underdeveloped in the womb compared to just single babies. See, they might have been something like this, where this is linguo hair. So this is the hair specifically in the womb of babies. So this is what keeps you warm in the womb. Now the women also have lining on. There's like 4 membranes there that are keeping you warm, but it can only do so much. So your body also gets furry while doing the womb stuff.
I was born 2 months early,
this.
and my mom says I was born with a beard, which is funny because then then I kind of ended up this way also. But I was born. I was only 5 pounds when I was born, and I didn't look so much like that Wolfman baby there, but I was hairier than usual. I was a very, very not good looking baby.
My son had a little bit of hair, but you can't see it with the photos on my cheap phone, but it looks like a little bit of like beard hair almost.
Mm.
He came out, I was like, that's a man right there. He came out speaking baritone.
Yep. But this he spoke of the Spirit, whom those who believed in him were going to receive, for the Spirit was not yet given, because Jesus was not yet glorified. Some of the crowd, therefore, when they heard these words, were saying, this truly is the prophet. This is the Deuteronomy 18. Others were saying, this is the Christ.
Oh, it's
so
Muhammad?
others were saying, no, for is the Christ going to come from Galilee? You say that, it's actually the argument they use, because they differentiate the prophet from the Christ. They say that the prophet, therefore, can't be Jesus, because the Jews differentiate it.
In this passage, arguing with
this
Jesus?
passage, they use this passage as proof that the prophet is Muhammad.
God, that's dumb.
It's very dumb. Yeah. These are nasty, gunky aliens. Yes.
It's true. They're like
It's
creepy little pink
disgusting.
lizard people.
Partially
Well, it doesn't
deformed,
help. The
bluish.
nurses used. Well, it was only actually our last kid, our youngest daughter that was born, that had the thick white stuff all over her, and the nurses. I never like when people do this, but they will use like nice things to describe very unpleasant things, and they were calling it the cheese. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's a lot of cheese on this one," and I remember thinking, well, there goes a month of me not being able to eat cheese. Thanks, guys.
We were eating chili the first time I ever saw the Men in Black movie, the first one. And it's that part where the big roach alien gets blown up.
Oh, it just covers
It's
them.
like, man, this looks just like this. It's like,
it's the creepiest thing. People eat the afterbirth. And that just
that's the weird stuff. And they're what are you doing with this placenta? I'm like, hopefully it's just going in the trash. I don't want y'all digging this out and putting it in rich ladies' face cream or sacrificing it to Satan or whatever.
Yeah. Nasty,
Hillary Clinton
nasty
sucking it up
do.
in a smoothie.
Dude. Put some Tony Sashrays on it. Fry it up.
So you toss in a couple capers, as long as they're cooked, it turns out okay. You missed that part of the discussion, Christian.
Do you like capers? Talking about
really. They're like tiny little pickle balls, right?
I was hoping.
Like if a pickle was a ball and really tiny. Is that a caper?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah.
But
salty, aesthetic, little nasty.
Just use a pickle. You don't need some stupid, cheap imitation.
Oh, dude, all right. I'm more grossed out about the capers than I am the afterbirth. All right, let's keep going. No, for is the Christ going to come from Galilee? Has not the scripture said that the Christ comes from the seed of David and from Bethlehem, the village where David was, which he did? So a division occurred in the crowd because of him. It's also another fulfillment of that idea of,
about to say that.
We know where he comes from, and they misidentify where he's coming from. He comes from Bethlehem.
Well, I'm thinking of it fulfills there's a light in Naphtali in the land of the Gentiles. That's that northern part of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, how do you do that and be born in Bethlehem? Well, the Gospels let you know.
Yep. You just have to do both.
Yeah.
You're born one place and you grow up and dwell the other place.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. A bunch of prophecies, a bunch of ways that Jesus fulfills all this stuff. It's pretty cool. So a division occurred in the crowd because of him. One might say based even. Some of them were wanting to seize him, but no one laid hands on him. The officers then came to the chief priests and Pharisees, and they said to him, "Why did you not bring him?" The officers answered, "Never has a man spoken like this." So they're like, "Oh, well, he's either the Messiah or he's God. I don't know what he is, but he's not he's not normal. You expect me to, arrest him?" The Pharisees then answered them, "Have you also been led astray? Have any of the rulers of the Pharisees believed in him?" Yes, they did. But this crowd, which does not know the law, is accursed.
We just finished the conversation with Nicodemus.
Yeah. So, yes, there were Pharisees that believed in him, both before and afterwards.
Paul, but notice how this is kind of just like an appeal to authority. It's like all the cool people don't believe in him.
Right, because we know the law.
Right.
Yeah. They don't know which is ironic because that's the exact same accusation that Jesus gave against them. So now they're returning it on the crowd that's believing in him. So they got up in their feelings, they got hurt. Their feelings got hurt, and then they're accusing the crowd of the very thing that they are.
See, and this is how you know that even as bad and wicked as the Pharisees were, they're still better than Muslims, because Muslims believe in Allah, but the Pharisees believed in the law.
Oh,
the proper name.
Mute him. He just disappeared.
He just becomes you. He says it again, both your accent.
The more dumb stuff he says, the more he just becomes me.
Nicodemus, who came to him before, being one of them, said to them, so again, Nicodemus, "Does our law judge a man unless it first hears from him and knows what he is doing?" They answered him, "Are you also from Galilee? Search and see that no prophets arise out of Galilee."
Yeah, that's called racist as well. Subject.
Yeah. Red herring? Yeah. Then everyone went to his house. This is added. That is not part of it. So the context of 7 is about the temple, about tabernacle, about all of them being together in Jerusalem, him teaching in the temple explicitly. Then on the last day, this aside is happening. And then in 53, we get everyone went to his home. That's not in the original text. And then afterward, we have this. But Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning, he came again to the temple, and all the people were coming to him, and he sat down and began to teach them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman caught in adultery, and having set her in the center of the court, they said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in adultery in the very act. Now in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. What then do you say?" They were saying this, testing him so that they might have evidence to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down with his finger, wrote on the ground, and when they persisted in asking him, he straightened up and said to them, let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. When they had heard it, they began to go out one by one, beginning with the older ones, and he was left alone. And the woman, where she was in the center of the court. So it was just him and her. I love this idea of him writing with his finger in the ground in the sand. And this is the common belief, is that he was writing the sins of the people in front of them. So I struggle with lust. So if he would have came up and wrote on my feet, liar, wrathful, vengeance, violent, lustful, like all the things that I've done throughout my life. And I would be like, okay, and left. I love that it says that explicitly starts with the older ones are the first to leave because they have sinned the longest and have the most, and they know themselves that they are not good, holy people.
Or they're ultimately deep down wise enough to be self-aware.
Right. Then they leave. Then the younger ones are the last ones to leave. Like, oh, well, I guess. And they leave. And then he has the woman. So also we have in the law on Sinai, he wrote the law with his finger. So you also say that he is writing the law about other things that they were doing. There's a variety of things that he could have been writing in the sand. But we have in the Old Testament Jesus writing with his finger the law on the tablets for Moses. And here Jesus writing in a debate about the law in front of these people with this woman. And then Jesus said to the woman, "Where are they? Did no one condemn you?" She said, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said, "I do not condemn you either. Go and from now on, sin no more." Now, I'm going to ask a question to Stephen about this specifically. But before we get to that, I want to show that this is actually not in the text at this point. And that if you read from 52 to 12, if my thing scrolls up, if you read from there to here, it actually just works perfectly. Because the context of Jesus speaking here is not to these people. There's no gap of time between the woman and where he's speaking here. He's speaking explicitly to the crowds at the temple. So they're in the temple. He was teaching in the temple. So he went to the Mount of Olives and he went back to the temple? I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense. But the context of 7 is that he's teaching in the temple. The context of 8 is that he's teaching in the temple. So likely he's just teaching in the temple. So the text is never meant to be having the adultery passage thrown in the middle of that as an addition. Not only can we tell it's an addition based on the language itself and the actions and things that are happening, but also this passage appears in a variety of different places within the manuscripts themselves. So this manuscript also appears in Luke and Matthew and other sections of John. So there is no firm location of this story in the manuscripts themselves. There's no agreement on the manuscripts of where this story occurs. That being said, the church fathers do write about this and do talk about this story. They bring up this story explicitly and commentate on it. So the likelihood of this story being true and literally happening is pretty good, but it happening here in John 8 is very bad. It likely is not in this location.
Were you talking about, did you mention the quote from Papias that's preserved in Eusebius?
I didn't mention it by name, but I did mention that the church fathers quoted it.
Oh, I got it here ready.
Oh, nice.
Cool. Yeah, so Eusebius's church histories. Papias also makes use of evidence drawn from John and Peter. It produces a story about a woman falsely accused before the Lord of many sins. This is to be found in the Gospel of the Hebrews, and that is a text that is no longer extant, but I think that this is a historical story that was preserved from that text. It sometimes appears in like later manuscripts of John. It also appears in some manuscripts of Luke. But I have here a facsimile of P66, and I have read big chunks of this, and it's not in this one. And this is a very, very old manuscript. I think it's 2nd century, and it's from Egypt and some area called Fayum, Egypt, I think. Yeah, and it doesn't have it. And then I have a bunch of not facsimiles, but transliterations of the earliest manuscripts, and none of them have it either. I think it first pops up in like the 400s or something in those manuscripts, but it's referenced before that because this guy Eusebius lived in the 300s, and he's quoting Papias, who knew the apostles.
Yes,
I think Papias knew the apostles. If not, he was like from 120 or something. He was close.
He's the student of John, I believe. Him and Ignatius, I believe, are the students of John.
Wasn't Polycarp?
Polycarp. Yeah, Polycarp.
Polycarp. Yeah. Oh, it might have been. Hold on. I think I mixed up my P names.
Yeah.
Papias.
That'd be a funny nickname for somebody. What's up, Papias? Sounds like Pappy. Papa.
That's one of the rabbis. His name is Rabbi Papa or Rabbi Daddy. No, he's 2nd century, did not know the 12. So he would have been one generation removed.
Yeah, he's close.
He's very, very close. Yeah.
And he had volumes of books we don't have anymore. It's like, I was reading Hippolytus's Against Heresies book. Gnostics. And I'd finished book 1 where he laid out, he did his intro by saying, I need to go through. Do you know where this is going, Chris?
No,
no,
my
because
wife
it's a tangent. Huh?
My wife texted me, and she said, "My daughter woke me up by putting the blue toilet seat thing on the bed by my face and asked for help." So my daughter woke up, decided to go pee or poop, and then we have these inserts on the toilets that they sit on. So she took it off the toilet, which has not been cleaned in I don't know how long, and then she put the dirty pee poop thing on
right next to your
wife's face.
This can wait till.
Then I hear them above me right now. Anyway, sorry. You want to bring up what you're talking about?
I have no memory of what I was talking
about.
I slept like
the Gnostics.
Oh, yeah. So I read book 1, and he goes through, it does kind of like a summary of all of the major Greek thinkers, because he's setting up his argument. It's sort of like my video on Gnosticism, where I go through Plato, and then I show how it's like Plato. He goes through all the different Greek philosophers, because he's about to, that's like his first punch, because he's about to just say, and it's all stolen from here. Boom, boom, boom. This is what proves it. And so I flipped the page to see start book 2. It says book 2 and book 3 are not extant. And it just skips to book 4. I'm like, no, we don't have Hippolytus as book 2 and book 3. I want to read it so bad. And so I went back to book 1, and I just wrote in the margins what arguments I think he was going to make based on the intro that he had. I might do a video on that.
Yeah, dude, if we had more of the writings of the early church.
It's so sad. The more ancient literature you read, the more you realize how much is missing.
Yeah.
And how bad
you
read it. Like the
amount of quotes we have because other people are quoting them is insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
they had access to more sources than we do.
And a lot of those things got destroyed on purpose. They did book burnings a lot.
Yeah.
So like for example, I've been talking about this with Al-Razi. A lot of Al-Razi's writings got destroyed on purpose by the Caliphate because he was criticizing Muhammad and Allah. They couldn't kill him because he was too useful. He was too good of a physician. So they just burned his works instead. But we do have his critics, people who are debating with him, quoting his works. So all of the worst criticisms of Islam we have from Al-Razi are from his critics who are debating him, quoting him to refute him. And that's the best that we got because everything else was destroyed. Similarly for a lot of the Jewish stuff as well, because Christians burned a lot of the Jewish material.
That's how we have a lot of Celsus preserved, is through Origin. Because I think he goes through his whole book sentence by sentence and refutes everything. So he preserved like the whole book for us.
Yeah, which is also how we have the New Testament preserved by the Church Fathers, because there's over, if I remember correctly, there's like 110,000 Greek quotations of the New Testament, and both Greek and Latin quotations of the New Testament, just in the Church Fathers. There's like 8 entire Bibles you can recreate from just the Church Father quotations of the Bible, and it lines up extremely well. So not only do we have the manuscripts of the Bible, that's just unheard of for that number of manuscripts, we also have all the Church Fathers quoting it as well, and it being accurate and lining up perfectly. So,
and Allah confirms it himself. He says in Surah 568 that he sent the Torah and the Injil, and that if you don't stand on them, you don't stand on anything.
True. The Hikmah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's get through 8. 8 is some of my favorite bits of John. Then Jesus again spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will never walk in the darkness, but will have the light of life. This is one of the 8 I am statements of John, where every single one of them is a deity claim. There's 8 I am deity claim statements within John, not including the just general ego and me. But, ego and me in the context of Isaiah and in the context of Exodus 3 is basically a deity claim in and of itself. But he not only uses the ego and me here, as you can see, for those who can read Greek, this is ego, that's me. So that's kind of a deity claim in and of itself, the way that he uses it, the way he quotes scripture with it. But then he adds on these other sentences too that makes it even more explicit that he is explicitly the light, the false here. He is the light of the world. He is And then he's the good shepherd. Like he's the vine. I don't know if I can remember all 8 of the I ams here. Maybe not. It's too late. Okay. We'll come back to it. Most of them happen in 8, 10, and 11. So we're going to see a lot of those over the next couple of weeks. But I did a video on it already. If you want to go check out, it's my second video on the channel, is all the times Jesus claims to be God. And I go over the I am passages there. But he who follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So the idea of he guides your steps. Well, who's the one that guides our steps? It's God. So he's claiming to be God. So the Pharisees said to him, you are bearing witness about yourself. Your witness is not true, which he actually already commentated against earlier on in John, as we read. And then Jesus answered and said to them, even if I bear witness about myself, my witness is true. So he's elevating himself to a higher standard than the law, which is really, really powerful and would have very much ticked off the rabbis. So even if I bear witness about myself, my witness is true. So he's elevating himself above the Torah. For I know where I come from and where I'm going, but you do not know where I'm coming from or where I'm going. So why is he elevated above the Torah? Because he knows where he comes from. So what does that mean? It means he's God. I am greater than the Torah.
This speaks to the synoptics too, that are supposedly low Christology, because it'll talk about how he teaches with authority, not like the teachers of the law. But it doesn't elaborate, but it doesn't contradict this. The two kind of communicate with each other. Well, why is he? In what way is he teaching with more authority than the teachers of the law? Boom, right here, it lets you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's Lucian that talks about the eclipse of the sun. I have that in my Confidence in Christ series, which is not on YouTube. I should probably make it on YouTube. That's so much text. That's actually quoted. That's one of the times as well, where we don't actually have the dude's work. It's Phlegon. He is quoting Barcipian. Origen quotes him in against Celsius. So Phlegon records, in the time of Tiberius Caesar at full moon, there was a full eclipse of the sun from the 6th to the 9th hour. This is from Africanus's chronography. Phlegon is also mentioned by Origen. And when he's quoted by Origen, it says, and with regard to the eclipse in the time of Tiberius Caesar, in whose reign Jesus appears to have been crucified, and the great earthquakes which then took place. So we have Phlegon and a variety of later scholars quoting it. And Julius Africanus is one of the primary sources for that belief, including within that for Thales as well. So Julius quotes Thales later on as well. It says, on the whole world there pressed in most fearful darkness, and on the rocks were rent by an earthquake, and many places in Judea and other districts were thrown down. This darkness, Thales in the 3rd book of his history calls, as appears to me without reason, an eclipse of the sun. So we have both Thales quoting it, and we also have Phlegon quoting it. Phlegon is from 80 to 140 AD, and Thales was at 52 AD. So dudes that are very early on, we have third-party accounts of the eclipse of the crucifixion of Jesus. Pretty base.
Very cool.
Very cool. Anyway, I need to do a video on that. That's also in J. Warner Wallace's book, Jesus Christ, Person of Interest. So if you want to go through the nitty gritty of all of that type of stuff, you can get that book. It's a very good book, and it's a picture book. So he does a lot of illustrations in it. It's really good. You judge according to the flesh. I am not judging by anyone. I'm not judging anyone. But even if I do judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone in it, but I and the Father who sent me. Even in your law, it has been written that the witness of 2 men is true. I am he who bears witness about myself, and the Father who sent me bears witness about me. So he sometimes uses John as his witness. He also uses the Father as his witness. He uses John as the witness of his messianicship. He uses the Father as the witness to his divinity. Why? John was there for all of Jesus's life, literally all of it. The Father was there for all of Jesus's existence, whatever it means for an eternal being to exist. The Father was there for all of it, so the Father can bear witness for it. John was there for all of his life, therefore John can bear witness for him.
That's a great point,
So-
Chris.
Thank you. Well, I teach sometimes. So they were saying
Does
to
he teach
him,
with
"Where is your
authority?"
father?" No, not like Jesus. So they were saying to him, "Where is your father?" Jesus answered, "You know neither me nor my father. If you knew me, you would also know my father. You know my father also." Reading a different version
That's
after you've
rough.
read one version for like decades is hard on your brain, man. These words he spoke in the treasury as he was teaching in the temple, and no one sees him. So again, he's teaching in the temple is back to John 7. And his hour had not yet come, so no one seized him. Then he said again to them, "I am going away, and you will seek me, and I am going away, and you will seek me, and will die in your sin. Where I am going, you cannot come. You will die in your sin." Well, why is he saying that? Also, here is another "I am," but it's not ego ami, it's just ego, which is the normal way to say it. You could say ego, or you could say ami. If you're starting it with like your own name or someone else's name, you would use ami by itself. You could use ego by itself, but you wouldn't typically use ego ami. Here he's using just ego. So he doesn't always use ego ami for whenever he just says "I am doing such and such." That'd be very unlikely. He also doesn't do it here as well. So the "am" is usually inferred. He explicitly does the "I am," the ego me, in times where he's making a deity claim. So you can tell, like, every single time Jesus is doing it versus not doing it, what is the difference in what he's saying. And here is just a common sentence of "I'm going away" and "I am going." It's not, "I am." It's not the Aya of Hebrew of the Exodus. Anyway. So the Jews were saying, "Surely he will not kill himself, since he says, 'Where I'm going, you cannot come.'" And he was saying to them, this is one of the most important verses in the entire Bible. "You are from below, I am from above. You are not of this world, you are of this world, I am not of this world. Therefore I said to you, you will die in your sins, for unless you believe that I am, you will die in your sins." Now this is ego eimi. He is elevating himself here. He is claiming to be God here. Unless you believe that I am God, you will die in your sins. So when we talk to Muslims, when we talk to Unitarians, Jehovah's Witnesses, Oneness Pentecostals believe he is God, but they have a weird view of God. But if you have the Unitarians, Jesus is claiming here, unless you believe that I am God, you will not be saved. You will not be redeemed. Salvation requirement is belief that Christ is God, which we also get in Romans with Paul. So, if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord, Kyrios, you have to believe Jesus is Yahweh, and then you will be saved. If you do not believe Jesus is Yahweh, you will not be saved. Jesus testifies to that. The Old Testament kind of testifies to that in part, but Paul explicitly testifies to that as well. I would say maybe also the Epistles of John has it. Hebrews has it very, very explicitly as well. You have to believe Jesus is Yahweh in order to be saved. So that's why it's the primary heresy. It's why we're so worried about Muslims. It's why we're worried about all these things. Like Jesus testifies, unless you believe that he is God, you will die in your sins. So I can hope that God is merciful to those who have not accepted Christ as Yahweh, but I have less of a reason to believe that because Christ himself says this. Mm-hmm. This is such a powerful, important sentence in the Bible. It's crazy.
On that note, everyone memorize John 8:24, and I'm going to be thinking about it as I go to sleep because I'm getting off of this live stream now, and I'm going to go to sleep because I'm so tired that I think my digestive system has ceased operations.
You getting heartburn?
No, I just feel like if I stay up too late, it feels like I've been kicked in the stomach.
Oh,
it's like all of my entrails are going, why are we still awake?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a good answer for them. So I'm going to get off and go to sleep. I'll be on longer next time. I won't stay up all night watching Clint Eastwood movies.
Good night, Mr. Godfly.
Good night.
Good night. Do not take my pronunciation of anything as gospel. I flip flop on pronunciation all the time. I'm notoriously bad at it. So origin is the way you're supposed to say it, if I remember correctly.
That's what I think I've heard most, but I always struggle with this too, because when it comes to like ancient names from different languages, uh, a lot of times it's a toss-up as to how
Right.
whichever becomes the common pronunciation. And so it gets tricky. And a lot of like, I mean, origin, I know I've heard referenced many times vocally, and so I do believe that's the the received pronunciation. But
Yes.
uh, it probably wouldn't be though, right? There's not there wouldn't be a soft G in that in that
Or
name.
gun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It'd be Greek. Um, I'm not sure. Again, like I mean, we're not entirely sure how the Koine Greek pronounce things to begin with.
right, right.
Um, like we can't hear, we don't have a recording of them speaking. So even if we know, like,
Hmm.
oh, well, they use these diphthongs a lot because we can see like later on people who gave those words would use a different vowel that was the essentially the equivalent of
Right.
the diphthong of like this. Like you can figure out that and figure out some enunciations for the vowels, like the vowels and other things, but like how they pronounce consonants, like
Hmm.
there's a whole
And it
debate
was
between a vav and a
already
wa.
like the New Testament
Like
Koine Greek was already pretty evolved from the original Koine Greek, if I'm remembering correctly. Like it had been around for a couple hundred years, I think.
300 years. Yeah,
Hmm.
Alexander was the one who instilled it. And it was like 300 BC. Um, so it became the language of both the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire.
Hmm.
Latin was not as dominant in the Roman Empire as what people think. That was Greek because of Alexander. Um, but again, like I can't, I don't know for sure what it would sound like. It's my best guess based on what other people say who are more informed than I am, but I still think that they're slightly guessing. Um,
Hmm.
anyway, this I'm curious what your opinion is specifically.
Okay.
Now that the boy is gone. Um, why did Jesus not condemn the woman of adultery? And did he break the law in not condemning her?
Um, well, I don't think I've ever thought of it specifically that way. Would I would I think just off the top of my head, I would think uh repentance, and kind of laying the groundwork for that.
Which is new covenant,
Right.
right? So how is Jesus doing that in the old covenant still before he dies?
Well, because he does say that he has the ability to forgive sins.
He does because he's God.
Hmm.
Yeah. So he is
So,
using his divine prerogative to forgive her sin here. He's
hmm.
not actually following the law because otherwise he would judge her and stone her.
Well, I think though, because he it wouldn't be not following the law. It would just be he is the law basically. So he can uh because even in the new covenant with the keeping of the law in that area, um the the law still stands as the guide, but because of repentance now being because of Jesus's sacrifice, uh repentance is now the way to appeal to his sacrifice as something to cleanse us. And so
Yes.
we still are condemned, but things like, and I think you and I have talked on this a little bit before, if I remember your position correctly. You are still, would you say that if someone, let's say someone is commits murder, and then they convert to Christianity in prison, but they are sentenced to death, would you still be for carrying out that sentence against them?
Yeah.
Okay, because I view it as that if, and again, obviously, you're subject to the whatever legal system you're subject to,
Right.
but I would say that in God's rule, that they should be not subject to the
Forgiven.
death penalty. Like, for example, if it was
Yep.
up to a Christian court.
Right. If it was a theocratic government, I don't think
And so,
necessarily that they would have, but you can't really prove relationship with Christ in a court of law. Like, what if they're just
right,
faking it? Like
right.
the biggest stupidity of the Inquisition is that it doesn't really prove anything or do anything, because people will lie and say no matter what, they'll say anything. The fact that Christians would rather go to their death than denounce Christ during the Roman persecutions was very interesting. But the fact that people will convert to Christianity under coercion is not that interesting.
Right.
It doesn't say anything about the truthfulness of Christianity. It doesn't say anything about the truthfulness of that person's relationship with Christ. So for the I don't think a human court could actually decide that, but if God was in charge of it, I would say that he would forgive them. I would say a human court, I don't know how you could possibly, legislate that.
Okay.
A
Yeah. And so
conversion, and
that's kind
therefore
of
the
like,
penalties are paid.
to me, why I was just mentioning that here is I think it's not Jesus breaking the law, because if the sin is forgiven, there's nothing to be punished for. So
Right.
so
Well, how is it
she
forgiven? It's forgiven because he took on the punishment.
right.
Right.
And so
Which hasn't happened
he
yet,
wouldn't be breaking the law
but
by not correct.
his sacrifice is eternal.
Right.
So his sacrifice already applied to this woman,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is interesting.
And
So I
so
didn't mean to put on
technically,
this up too much. I just was curious what you would say on that.
mm,
Yep. I also haven't thought about this passage before. That just caught my eye while I was reading it today. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting little thing. But I think that's where I would settle as well. Why aren't you guys Catholic? I'll eventually make a video on that, but I'm not gonna go through that right now. How would a Divinity of Christ denier steel man that passage in John? A lot of the times they just waffle on the Greek. I could try to right now. So if we go, since I have the Greek pulled up, whenever I go to the Old Testament, I'll also pull up the Greek here. If we go to this passage here, and he says explicitly, ego eimi o on. So the o on here is basically like, I am he who is, or I am he who is, like, I am the one who simply exists, is kind of the idea. So the anihu, or this phrase here, the ego eimi, is what Jesus is quoting from. But then, even if you watch the debate with David Wood and Alex O'Connor still did the same thing. This is what Dawa guys do as well. And it's what a lot of atheist critics will do as well. Like, oh, well, if Jesus was actually quoting ego eimi here from the Greek, why wouldn't he have said hoon? Because hoon is included in the second ea. So if you notice, there's 3 I am statements. These are ea in the Hebrew. There is an ego eimi for the first I am. There's an on, and there's another on. There's 1 ego eimi, but 2 ons. So if Jesus was quoting this passage, he would surely have said on, even though that doesn't make any sense grammatically. To use like on, the lights, like false, like on a false, like that doesn't make any sense. Like the existing light is basically what that would translate to, or like the eternal light. Like he wouldn't introduce himself as, because this is the definite article the, and then On is like, this is from the root ami, which basically means to exist, to be, it's a different form of this word. It's kind of the same word, but it's a different grammatical structure to it. And if the Greek speaking lad that just left was still here, he could go into some of the nuances between ami and on, but it's kind of serving the same purpose in these two statements. The, though, is not. So this is I and this is thee. The is different. The I am, if you want to think about an I am, which is what Aya is doing in the Hebrew, it is more significantly related to the ego and me, which is why Jesus quotes it. It's also why Isaiah quotes it whenever it's speaking of Exodus. So in Isaiah, in the Septuagint, which if we go to here, in Isaiah, we also have a lot of these ego and me statements. The one that, what's his face, Rabbi, so-and-so, he likes to use. You do have similar language being applied of the first and the last. So ego and me. Pertos. Protos. No, that makes sense. Protos, the first. That makes sense. So ego and me protos. Literally, I am the first. And then also, I am the last. Now, it's not like, this is actually aeon, or aeon. Eon is like a forever. So I am the first. I am the before, because that's protos is before. And I am the eternal. I am the forever, is literally what it says in the Greek of this passage, just kind of based. Isaiah uses the ego and me, but because ego and me is not the plural or the plurality, it's not the majority of the passages in Exodus, they waffle about that and then just say, oh, well, it's not actually quoting Exodus 3:14. He's not actually saying that he's God. They kind of distort it. Now, how would a steel manner of Jesus's not divinity exist if they know the scriptures? I don't know. I don't know how the cognitive dissonance works within like Bart Ehrman's head, because he's been debated a lot on this topic. He knows that what he's saying is probably false. At least I would hope he knows that. He's at least realized, yeah, no, that's actually not that great of an argument. They still use it. So, why they use it? I don't know. Lack of knowledge, maybe. Spiritual blindness, maybe. Intentionally being deceitful, maybe. I have no idea. But that is the argument that they use, that I've heard. There may be some other arguments as well if you want to look into it. But that is the go-to one I've heard. It doesn't work, especially if you read the prophets, because the prophets use this of Yahweh as well, such as the passage we just read in Isaiah. So ego and me is tied to divinity in both the Torah and the prophets. And it's tied to divinity within Christ's statement as well. And oftentimes the exact grammar matches a bit better with Isaiah than it does Exodus. So he's still quoting deity passages. He's just not necessarily quoting Exodus 3:14 of himself.
Well, and we are right to call out or to notice, I guess would be a better word, when like anti-Jesus Jews or Muslims or the people like that in a different religion do this with the texts. And a lot of times, like Korah is a great example. There's no way she's as dumb as her arguments make her seem. She's being intentionally deceptive. Tovia Singer is another one that does that. And so for us as Christians, we look at them that have a counter religion, and so we say, well, of course, that they would do that. When it comes to academics, I think a lot of times we don't think that could be possible, because we think, oh, they're academics, they're just going by pure information. But atheism is, and a lot of times even academia is its own religion to its adherents, and so it would not be out of the question for them to be willfully deceptive. And I'm not accusing Bart Ehrman of that, but I'm just saying, I personally, when I think of academics like that, atheist academics, a lot of times I think, well, no, they're just going by information. They just don't see it this way, and then it's like, well, you're actually being a little bit too easy on them, because that could be the case. But especially in a field like that where knowledge is the place you're trying to get to, and then to misuse it or misapply it in certain ways where it is just like, I don't really know how you're doing that at all. It's not unlikely that they are uh, actively trying to interpret things away from pointing to God.
Yeah. If it wasn't for it being illegal and liable, I may or may not be willing to say that certain members of the cast that you just spoke about were just grifters and are not actually believing the words that they're saying. But I'm not going to name names because that would be illegal. So, especially because I can't prove it in the court of law. Anyway, I doubt the sincerity of a number of people in the arguments that they use against the New Testament.
Which is, at that point, if someone's willing to do that, it kind of throws out the validity of anything they would say. So,
I mean, to be fair,
don't do that.
You can be extremely well, like Richard Dawkins is a primary example of this. You can be extremely well knowledgeable about a specific topic and be incredibly stupid about everything else. So, like people like Barman, he can be incredibly knowledgeable about certain aspects of New Testament studies, and then either be intentionally deceptive or not be that knowledgeable about other sections of it and come to bad conclusions. I'm not gonna say anything that could I'm not gonna say any more on that. But the arguments that he uses are not arguments that you think someone of his status should be using, because they are multi-times debunked. So why does he keep using arguments that he knows to be false? I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, so they were saying to him, "Who are you?" Jesus said to them, "What have I been saying to you from the beginning?" Like, what do you mean? Who are you? I am God. All right. I have heard many. I'm not me, Jesus. I have heard many things. I have many things to say and to judge concerning you. But he who sent me is true, and things which I heard from him, these I am saying to the world. They did not know that he has been speaking to them about the Father. So Jesus said, "When you lift up the Son of Man, then you will know that I am. And I do nothing for myself, but I speak these things as the Father taught me. And he who sent me is with me. He has not left me alone, for I always do the things that are pleasing to him." So again, he's referencing back to his old teaching, but when you lift up the Son of Man, this is John 3:14 and 15. When you lift up the bronze serpents, you will know that, salvation is coming, all those things. When you lift up the Son of Man, when you crucify me, when you crucify God, then you will know that I am God. Explicitly, again, when you crucify me, then you will know that I am the ego of me. Then you will know that I am God. When you lift up the Son of Man, deity claim, crucifixion, prophecy, you will know that I am God. So multiple times where that type of idea is coming up, unless you believe that I am God, you will die in your sins. When you see me dead, you will know that I am God. It will be revealed to you who I was. Why? The earthquake, the tearing of the veil, the total eclipse, the testimony of the witnesses, the people walking around. There's so many reasons to know Jesus is who he said he was, and all the people came to believe, at least many of the people came to believe, that he was who he said he was because of his death, burial, and resurrection. Pretty awesome. Yeah, presuppositions definitely are a factor in all of that. The points I made are what you get in debate with the people, not at like the pop level Reddit atheist level. So whenever you listen to debates between like actual people who've studied the topic, that is one of the arguments that they'll be bringing up, which has been debunked, which you can see in action with Alex O'Connor and David Wood. And David Wood did not pound him on it, and I was very disappointed with him. for not doing it. I was like yelling at my monitor, like, "What do you bring up Isaiah?" And I was like, ironically, I made my video on that exact passage like a month before David did that debate. And I had that in the video. So I was like, that's funny. Like, oh, every single argument David brought up for the Trinity is in my Trinity video, including the ego of me. But I went a little bit deeper. So that's the rundown. If you want to know like why Jesus was calling himself God, that's the background to the ego of me. That's what people say about it, and that's how it relates to the Hebrew and what is used in the Septuagint. So the New Testament context, Jesus likely was speaking Hebrew or Aramaic here, and he says he might have said in Hebrew, "You will know that Eya." This might be a way higher deity claim to his audience than what it is to us, even though the ego me is still a pretty high deity claim. But it might have been way more explicit to the Jews because the Jews got very, very, very upset about it. So Jesus was saying to those Jews who had believed him, "If you abide in my word," skip 30. As he was speaking these things, many believed in him. Well, what were they believing? They were believing that he is God, that he's the Messiah. So Jesus was saying to the Jews who had believed him, "If you are abide in my word, then you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. The truth will set you free." They answered him, "We are Abraham's seed and have never yet been enslaved to anyone. How is it that you say you will become free?" This would be offensive to them as well. And Jesus answered them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who commits sin is the slave of sin, and the sin does not remain in the house forever, but the Son does remain forever." Why does the slave not remain forever? Because of the Jubilee laws, because of the 7-year of redemption. The slave will eventually go out, but the Son remains. So if the Son makes you free, you will be free indeed. I know that you are Abraham's seed, yet you are seeking to kill me because my word has no place in you. Bars, man, just gutting you to the core. I speak the things which I have seen with my father, therefore you also do the things which you have heard from your father. They answered and said to him, "Abraham is our father." Jesus said to them, if you're Abraham's children, you would do the deeds of Abraham. But now you are seeking to kill me, a man who has told you the truth, which I heard from God. Now he's making it explicit. Who is my father I'm speaking about? It's God. This Abraham did not do. You are doing the deeds of your father. They said to him, we were not born of sexual immorality. We have one father, God. Oh, they're Muslims though. Anyway, yeah. Jesus said to them, "If God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and have not come," almost spoke blasphemy, "for I have proceeded forth and have come from God, for I have not even come of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I am saying? It is because you cannot hear my word." They have spiritual darkness, spiritual blindness. Nordine, if you're familiar with David Wood's live streams, Nordine would be like, "Oh, George." So they had spiritual blindness. They were not able to comprehend his word. But you are of your father, the devil, and you want to do the desires of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning. He does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. Whenever he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I speak the truth, you do not believe me. He's also the first liar, which is pretty cool. Which one? Well, he's not cool that he's a liar. It's cool that Jesus is like, hey, it's nature to lie. And the first thing we see him doing in the Bible is lying to Eve. Which of you convicts me of sin? If I speak truth, why do you not believe me? He who is of God hears the words of God. For this reason you do not hear them, because you are not of God. The Jews answered and said to him, do we not say rightly that you are Samaritan and have a demon? Racism and demon. Jesus answered, I do not have a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. You are dishonoring God. As he brought up earlier, how do you honor the Son? You honor him like you honor the Father. So they're dishonoring him. They're not worshiping him. They're dishonoring him. But I do not seek my glory. There is one who seeks and judges. So there's one, uno, monos, who seeks and judges. Who is the one who seeks and judges? Is God. But who is the one that seeks and judges? The Son. According to his testimony earlier on in this week.
Right.
He has all judgment. So there's one who judges, and it's God, but there's one who judges, and it's the Son. Truly, truly, I say to you, if anyone keeps my word, he will never see death ever. He is promising for eternity. This is the same word used earlier that we talked about. Jesus says, I am the first. Well, God says, I'm the first, I'm the last. In the Greek, it uses this exact phrase. Is ton Eona. This is eons for eternity. So this is the exact same phrase that is used. This is ego eimi of Isaiah 48:12. He's applying it of his salvation that he's applying to you. So you're going to be with him forever for eternity. It's pretty based. So he claims to be God. He claims to be one with the Father in a variety of ways, because he says God alone has this and I have this. God alone has this and I have this. Either he's a walking contradiction and you shouldn't listen to him, or he's claiming to be one with the Father and God. Almost as if the Trinity is true. Anyway, the Jews said to him, now we know that you have a demon. Abraham died and the prophets also. And you say, if anyone keeps my word, he will never taste of death ever. Surely, is that Thanatos? That is. Okay. Thanatos is one of my favorite characters from Smite. So I just like seeing Thanatos. It pops up. Anyway. Surely you are not greater than our father Abraham who died. The prophets died too. Whom do you make yourself out to be? Very important question. Who is the one Jesus is claiming to be? And Jesus answered, if I glorify myself. Also, thank you to RT for the gift you sent. It does not show up in StreamYard, so I can't bring it on stream. But thank you, brother. Jesus answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me. God glorifies the Son.
God glorifies
of whom you say,
someone?
Yeah, how can God glorify someone? He is our God. So he's identifying him even more explicitly than what he was doing earlier. He already identified him as God. The one who sent me was God. He already said that. He already identified that. Now he's making it as clear as can possibly be for the Jews listening to him. My Father glorifies me. Deity claim. Who glorifies him? God. And you have not known him, but I know him. And if I say that I do not know him, I would be a liar like you. But I do know him and keep his word. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. When did he see it? Genesis 12, Genesis 15, Genesis 18, Genesis 19, Genesis 22. Like, he saw his day and he was glad. Why was he glad? Because that's when the covenant came. The covenant giver of Abraham was Jesus himself. So the Jews said to him, you are not yet 50 years old and you have seen Abraham? Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham was, I am ego eimi. This is the exact same claim he was making earlier of the ego eimi. Unless you believe that ego eimi, you will be dead in your sins. Unless you will know that I am ego eimi when you lift me up on the cross. When my glory is revealed to you in the resurrection, when my glory is revealed to you when the temple is destroyed and the curtain is torn and the cloud comes and the darkness comes and the earthquake happens, you will know that I am God. And what is the first thing that someone says? The Roman centurion, this man was the son of a God. Now he was, he didn't fully understand Yahweh because he wasn't a Jew. The salvation is of the Jews. But he is claiming here to be the same God that will be revealed on the cross, the same God that was with him, who created the universe, the same God who's the first and the last of Isaiah. He is claiming to be Yahweh. And then they get it. Why do they get it? Therefore, they pick up stones to throw at him, because Jesus hid himself and went out to the temple. Why did they pick up stones to throw at him? From their perspective, he just committed blasphemy by saying that he was God, which would be a sin punishable by death if he was not God, but he was God, so he's not sinning. They're going to kill God for claiming to be something that he already is. But they don't understand that. They don't recognize it. So they consider him as worthy of death. They consider him to be worthy of death, even though he had committed no sin. Kind of like Joseph, Go through a Joseph typology there.
A quick sidetrack just into the discussions with Muslim world. I've cheekily gone up on a few TikTok lives to discuss some things with Muslim channels, and there's this one guy named Mustafa, and he has New Testament recall as good as any Christian would want, and he uses that to do a whole bunch of fancy stuff and make things say funny things. One of his big arguments is that the Jews pretended that Jesus was speaking blasphemy because they just wanted to kill him, but Jesus actually wasn't making technically blasphemous, but he was not saying that he was God. That this was just an excuse. That's how he takes it. And in at his trial, even he said when the priest rips his clothes, he didn't actually believe Jesus was making a divinity claim. He just did it because he thought it would be a compelling way to convince everybody to kill Jesus, which
No, that's very
doesn't
stupid.
it,
So
it doesn't really follow in any way because for a lot of reasons, but I had never
yeah,
heard that before. I'd never heard somebody because we were going back and forth, and I said, "Well, no, he clearly claims divinity here, here, here," and for a while, I wasn't understanding what he was saying, and then when I said, "Oh, wait, so you're claiming that Jesus wasn't making divinity claims, and that it was just it was slander used to get him killed," and so just very silly, but it's that
it's
argument
very,
is
very
out
dumb.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ironically, if you know the oral Torah, it works even less because in the Talmud, it talks about the times that a high priest can rend his garment. Why is that
Right.
important? According to the
And it's
Torah,
like when
the
his
high priest has to
right.
keep his garment whole and pure and clean and not have any tears in it. So
Hmm.
by tearing the garment, they're actually breaking Torah. But in the
Hmm.
oral Torah, in the oral tradition, whenever they hear blasphemy, they rip the high priest is supposed to rip his garment. And it's to symbolize like blasphemy is so bad, especially claiming to be God or claiming something falsehood of God is so bad. It's almost as if the world is being destroyed. So, who cares for the garment being torn? They're actually
Hmm.
using the tearing of the garment as evidence um, against Jesus, but that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like that would be literally breaking the Torah for something like he could condemn him for a variety of things. He could just say he was
That's what
soliciting
is
him to the nations. Like, hey, oh, this guy was
correct.
just like trying to get you to worship like Baal.
Hmm.
That's a death penalty. He
Right.
could have gone. There's so many other death penalties they could have come up with, and not torn his garment. But he specifically tore his garment, which is against Torah law. And the only reason why they did it is because of the oral law, and that was one of the only acceptable ways you can tear your garment is for blasphemy specifically. So that argument makes no sense whatsoever, especially if you know the Jewish side of it. It's very stupid.
Hmm.
But
Very stupid.
yeah. Isn't it worth noting Jesus didn't refer to Abraham as his father? Yeah. Your father Abraham. I mean, he is a Jew of the flesh. But he is also, like technically the father of Abraham.
He does do this a lot with it's like when he says your law. Obviously, Jesus was subject to it
Right.
too. And
Right.
but I think what he's doing is what I always wondered, and I wanted to actually do some research on this, is was this a typical uh, conversational thing at the time? Because it does kind of sound weird uh, when you have these back and forths where they say you, and they're even when they agree on certain things, it seems as though they're taking themselves outside of the argument. So I was wondering, I guess, Chris, if you knew anything about that, you would have already mentioned it. But I was wondering if that was like a typical way of conversation in those times.
I don't know. That'd be something to look up. But yeah, no, Muslims come up with the worst ways they could possibly defend their fake system. But I mean, hey, if you're following something that's false, you have to come up with false ways to defend it. Because if you come up with the
Mm.
true ways to defend it, you're going to end up with it being false.
Well, and then again, too,
Oh,
I mean, that one guy, he uses s- the, the New Testament to argue all this stuff, and
yeah.
then it got to a point where I said, but actually,
You don't
why
have
are you
belief.
bringing this as evidence at all if you don't believe it's accurate? And he goes, well, to show you that it's wrong. And I said, well, how could you be showing me using evidence that you don't believe is valuable evidence? It's
Yes,
very strange. Oh, there we go.
we're
It's
proud
been
of that.
a whole stream with no soundboard.
You sick in the mind?
You're a liar! Lying liar! Lying liar from lying liar land on Liars Getting Free Day, boy!
What?
Oh, yeah, they do, in fact, default to circular arguments. Actually, I have a whole section on that in my book. It's pretty based. Pretty cool. I was going through that. I was like, hey, I should probably add some like logical errors and like common dilemmas and everything else that they do. So I actually included a whole chapter just on the dilemma, on the definitions of the fallacies that the most common that Muslims do. An example of the common fallacy that they do to defend Islam, and then an example that's not related to Islam, so hopefully people could understand it.
Oh, very cool,
Bit better.
Chris.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's pretty good. Oh, did I fix? Huh. I might need to check that. Anyway, it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty good. I'm very excited for the book. No idea when it's gonna be done, but it's coming along. It's gonna get there. Yeah. I have the first, let's see, how many chapters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters done. And then most of part 5, and part 5 was 300 pages. So there's 7 parts to it. It's currently 420 pages and 109,000 words. We'll get there. But all right, that's all I had for John 8, I think. I can look back through real quick to see if I forgot anything. I want to read it once it's out. I do need some people to proofread it as well to make sure
I
that
like
it's as good as
proofreading,
possible.
Chris. If you'd want to recruit my services,
I absolutely will, dude. I love the So I think Charty, you were there whenever, but you've seen the logo or the book cover design. The book covers, I like it. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for it. Which is also part of the reason why I don't want to do it in multiple parts. Some people are like, "Oh, you should just do 2 parts." I'm like, I don't want to do it in 2 parts, because the book cover itself is so cool. I don't want to have to break that up into 2 different book covers, and I don't want to make like 2 volumes of the same book cover. So I'm like selfishly trying to fit it all into one book. Yeah, I don't know. I'll solicit a number of proofreaders whenever time gets a bit closer.
And of course, paid, right? Because you're not going to just do this for free.
No, I'm not going to pay people to proofread it.
Well, and you know what? I'm out.
Yeah, actually, the corruption one is the hardest thing they could possibly come up with Islam, because you have to basically be God in order to make the type of corruption that they want to say. So unless Allah
Yeah, and you know what's
corrupted
funny, Chris?
it couldn't have
I don't
happened.
think that people bring that point up enough. I think it's kind of the death blow to the argument that you changing one thing in Judea and somehow magically in Egypt that changes, and somehow in the exact same way, and then in Turkey it
Yep.
changes there, all in the exact same way. I mean, it is literally impossible. And
Sounds exactly like my
think
argument, huh?
they view it as like a live edited document that you could go online and anybody can just get in there and rearrange stuff. We're talking scrolls that are copied from scrolls, or not scrolls so much in the New Testament time. They were more like codices. And there's just literally no way you could simultaneously corrupt a message or a book in the way that they say it happened. It's just literally impossible. And I mean, there you go with that, you know, it's
yeah, you basically have to be God. And you have to miraculously change it, because you also have to change everyone's memory of it as well, not just the written text that we have, but also the memory of like millions of people. Yeah,
it would be the greatest conspiracy ever pulled off.
The greatest miracle, like one of the greatest miracles ever, because he's literally changing history. So like the level of miracle that would be is far beyond the flood. It's like near contemporary to creation. It's because you have to change history. You have to change memories. You have to literally change every physical object. Like there's so many things that have to be miraculously altered and changed. It would be wild. So Allah would have to be the one to do it, but why would Allah corrupt his own speech?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that's going to be in the book too. The full argument on that is in the book. So some people from the future went back in time and corrupted the originals. History was changed. Yep. Basically what you would need. Also for My Fairy Tale Life, for the Spanish translation and any of the other stuff, just go ahead and email me. I would be happy to have that. I don't know if we have that. I'm probably going to go with a publishing company. So I'd have to also talk to them about what they want to do for other possible languages. Spanish would be a good one because Muslims are trying to gain territory in all the Spanish countries. And then Indonesian/Malay would be good, and Chinese would be okay, but not nearly as good as like Farsi and Urdu and Arabic. I'm trying to also get some translation to that. We'll see how that goes. But Oz basically Loki. Honestly, you would need him to be in order for the idea of biblical corruption to be not laughed out of the room. Yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts? Because it's almost midnight and I should probably be sleeping.
Nope. I thoroughly enjoyed it, Chris. I've been having a blast going through the New Testament, even contrary to what a lot of the people who might consider me a slippery Judaizer. It's this has been super fun, and I was actually surprised that I don't feel like I usually know something that you don't know. And with the water ceremony during Sukkot, I figured you would have. That seems like something you would have already like deep dove, swim. But so
Nope.
it's just there's so much cool stuff in here, and what especially like John is real heavy on Jesus's words, and they're in like nice big speeches that are very dynamic and dramatic, and then there's a build to them. Because I used to not like John because I always thought like, what is going all this? When I was a kid, I'd read it and I was like, there's not much story in here. It's more of like discussion and these really thought-provoking spiritual realities and things. Whereas you read through the Synoptic Gospels and you're like, he went here, he said that, and when he says those things, they're still in there, but then you get like more of a story going with it. And John is just this big dramatic scene from all the way through of him basically proclaiming himself and what he's come to do and what he's going to do. And so I'm having a blast.
I really love the Gospel of John. I just put my email in the chat for all the people who want to email me random things. Yeah, the Gospel of John is just so much fun, dude. I love all the Gospels. I did, for those who didn't watch it, I did the full Gospel of Matthew, so I'm not going to redo Matthew. I did that with my British friend Tommy, and Tommy is just a gem. He's so much fun to interact with and talk to. So if you want to hear more Tommy, you can go through my Matthew series. Matthew series was great. The first stream on Matthew I did, garbage. The content was good, but my audio was horrible. So if you can get past the terrible audio, you can get through one of the reasons I'm not a Catholic. But I don't blame you if you can't get past the audio. I accidentally left on a song that I hate. because I'll play it right now. You guys can relive the experience. Hold on, which one is it? It's Feeding the Ducks, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I remember this stream. I went back after you've mentioned this before, and I went back and listened. I was like, yeah, it's not quite as good as like when you're on hold.
Right.
It's not even that good. It's just
But
it's kind of like
this
the
is also
pause
turned
menu of a
down.
really bad video game.
Yeah, this is currently at 50%. I had it at 80%, so it was actually this loud. So imagine just being like this loud while I'm trying to teach on Matthew and go through like the nuances of the genealogy of Jesus with this happening in the background,
I feel
and
like you're
on a
just
worse
waiting on
quality
a voice
mic.
to go like, "Hey man, you like the Bible?" That's kind of fun like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So imagine that. I also had my like actual. Pretty loud. I would have loved to have like this in the background of me teaching. I stopped doing music because that stream caused me pain mentally, but I can actually turn on music at any point in time for any of these streams if people actually want that. I just
Well, and I
don't.
got I could just sit here, Chris, and the be distracting that way.
I can add whatever else if they can. It's a good time. I think there's some other ones that are slightly more annoying. Oh, the dance pop maybe.
Oh.
Alright, this is the stream now. There you go.
Yeah. That's
So
how should
we have
close every stream.
I like this. I could do a show. I can have fun with it, but yeah, that's what the first Matthew stream was like. It was very loud music on top of a bad quality mic. My second stream I ever did, and it was yeah, not the content's good. The teaching was good. If you want to also experience that without the terrible music, you also just go to my website and go to my Bible series on that. I did like the first 8 chapters of Matthew before I dropped it like 2 years ago. So eventually I'll have a full commentary on the Gospels out, and that'll become a book. But I do have that on the website if you want to read one of the reasons I'm not a Catholic, on my idea of Mary being a virgin or not. Anyway, that's all I have.
Oh yeah, did want to just again in case people weren't here for that one part. Those 3 books by Alfred Edersheim are super awesome, and super in depth. It's kind of like a Chris from the 1800s, and I mean it goes into all sorts of stuff that you'd have to do a lot of digging or have previous knowledge to know, and it's all presented right there, and how Jesus is applies it, or how it applies to what he says or what was going on. And so super cool. The temple, its ministry, its services, the life and times of Jesus the Messiah, and again for some reason I forget what the third one is, the title of the third one, but super excellent books. And the life and times of Jesus the Messiah one is, it literally goes through his whole life, and it's like that thick, and it's just full of awesome information. So I highly recommend those books.
All right. Yep. I'm gonna play one final song, just the beginning of the song, then I'm gonna end the stream. So, thank you everyone for coming out, joining us. Hopefully you learned something and enjoyed it. Hopefully it actually helped you. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, love of God, and the fellowship of the Spirit with you always. Thank you. What was the chess-like book you recommended for?
Oh, Tactics.
Tactics by Greg Koukl. Go read it. Get the 10th anniversary edition
Mhm.
right here. Yep, this book. Get this book. Read this book. Get better at having conversations with people. Anyway, that is the book. So,
If
that-
I were to bring reasonable evidence that the Prophet Muhammad, that he was a true prophet, would you be willing to become a Muslim?
How about no? I don't buy.